Yeah, it's normal. It's become normal for the Black Stars of Ghana. It's a complete laughing stock on the continent. Nobody cares about the team. You hit the streets and you are shy to call yourself a Ghanaian. And it looks like we are becoming used to, or we have become used to, so we lose, and it's normal. But it's against the integrity of the nation. It's against the dignity of the nation. The legacy that people built is being destroyed. And I don't care about the losses, the series of losses. I care about the management of the team in general. I care about the restrictive type. The team has been branded like a Mossad, a top secret agency that you cannot even enter to see what is inside. If players are injured, journalists cannot even speculate because you cannot get closer. You were there yesterday. You travel 45 to 1 hour just to go and watch your national team as a journalist. You've been accredited and the team is restricted. Somebody feels that because journalists have spoken about the fact that they should camp in Ghana. We've allowed you to camp in Abu Dhabi. You've come home embarrassingly without a point. We allow you to camp in Dubai. You've camped in every luxurious place in this world and played zilch. So I don't know, the management of the national team has been very embarrassing. And like I said, during the last AFCON, we allowed them the leeway before it got exited. And each of the players went to their respective clubs without speaking to anybody in the country. And that was a very disgraceful act of disrespect by the players. It has continued for the past 4 African Cup of Nations. They come, you give them kente, you admire them. When they exit, they don't have an iota of respect to come home and speak to the Ghanaian people. The coach will leave, the GFA will allow the players to leave at dawn with torchlights without the shroud of touch by anybody. And this cannot continue. We have 2 more games to end this competition. We are letting them, we are just throwing the caution. We are making them aware that Ghanaians back home are angry, and it's become very normal for journalists to be insulted because everybody thinks that we are all part of the rot that is going on, and we have to start speaking. We have seen what the Nigerians did some time back. We've seen other countries like Egypt and Algeria. If we, the journalists, are not fierce and ferocious enough in questioning authorities around our national team, it will get to a point that we come to a tournament and we've become a laughing stock. So I don't know how low we can descend again. This is not what the Black Stars was built. This was not the foundation of love and admiration by the people of Ghana. We need to change it, and it can only be changed when we begin to speak. If we accept the level that we are descending, I'm not sure that anybody will follow the national team to tournament, and fans will begin to disown and denounce the Black Stars. And when you get to that level, I'm not sure that you have anything like a national team. And this is why it's become very incumbent and opportune for us to start speaking before the 2 remaining games.
Finally, today, where did we lose this game? Defense, attack, or where was lacking?
We've been losing, so I'm not sure anybody should be asking where did we lose. We've been losing games. We've been losing important games. We've not won more than 2 games in our last 10 AFCON. So it's not like we've been winning and we've suddenly lost. This is not a capricious loss. We've been losing. We are a laughing stock. There were people in the media tribune who were laughing at Ghana. Predictions were going for Cape Verde. And it was affirmed by our ineptitude, by our incompetence. I think that we need to start questioning the team critically like we used to do in the past.
Well, a bit disappointed, but I must say that a lot of Ghanaians are not surprised, disappointed but not surprised, because if you have to be very realistic, we haven't been playing good in recent games. I in particular haven't been impressed with Chris because I don't think he has improved the team since he took charge. February should be over, I think, close to 2 years now. He's been with the team in a technical capacity for 1 year, so I was expecting him to build on the kind of profile that we've had, in terms of players, but I don't see the improvement. If you look at Chris Hughton, his pedigree as a coach has been built on how defensively, his teams have been solid. But you look at the Black Stars, and we are conceding a lot of goals. So I must say I'm a bit disappointed. Yes, maybe the coach can take all the blame. Individually, we made some horrible mistakes that really cost us the game. It's disappointing because it means that now we've won only 1 game in the last 10 AFCON games, and we are in a very difficult group. In fact, we all know it would be very, very difficult, but you look at the results earlier in the game against Mozambique and Egypt, it tells you that this is actually a very bad result. And we have a lot to do to qualify from the group, even as one of the 4 best placed teams.
Why do you think we lost it today? Why do you think the game was lost today?
I think defense, because if you look at the goals that we conceded, they were preventable goals, lack of concentration, and sometimes consistency in terms of selecting a defensive unit, because we haven't had the luxury of having players that have been fit. Jiku and Salisu haven't played in a very long time. We haven't had a consistent back four. So sometimes the understanding is not there, because if you look at Richard Ofori, he has been out of the team for some time now. So sometimes if there is consistency, there is communication. Salisu knows that, you know what, Ofori won't come for that ball, let me clear it. So the consistency and the understanding, the communication wasn't there defensively, but I think that individually we were a bit poor, especially in defense.
My thoughts on the game. It has been a disappointing one. The only impressive time I enjoyed in this game was the time Jiku did what he did, played very impressively, and no doubt that he was the man of the match in this game. Great clearances he did there, and very, very disappointing for me. I am just shocked. I actually had high hopes in the Black Stars, but at the end of the day, we actually lost in this game. At the end of the game, at the presser, the coach is saying that they can't do anything about it. They just have to go back and then learn their lessons well and come back. We are hopeful, again, that moving to our next game against Egypt and the subsequent one against Mozambique, we'll pick up from those places and we'll see how it will go.
Finally, where do you think the game was lost today?
Attack. I would say attack, because the coach of Cape Verde actually told us that he actually learned his lessons, and the lessons that he learned from the Black Stars previously is attack, and so he came with a game plan, and so where we lost it was the attacking side.
I think it's not surprising. Under Coach Chris Hughton, we have not been playing well. We lack a lot of the basics of a good team. We are not so familiar with our identity. There's no clarity on that. In terms of departments of the game, you could clearly see that we seem disjointed. We are not very, very good with our transitions, and it makes it very, very difficult for us to dominate games. And we are not so structured in pressing our opponents and winning the ball and having possession of it. So we lack the basis of a good team. And today we just repeated what we have known under Coach Chris Hughton. So for me, I'm not so surprised that we lost the game. It's painful as a Ghanaian to see us lose the way we lost. But for those of us who have been following Chris Hughton and the Black Stars, it was only going to be a matter of time. We lost at major tournament under him, and today was just an evidence of that.
Which departments do you think lack
I think to win games at tournaments, especially your first game, you first need to be very, very solid in defense. And today, from our goalkeeper, you look very, very jittery, not so confident in post. And you will understand that in South Africa in the league, he's not playing, so he's rusty, of course. So it was telling on him, and our defense was not solid enough. And what is more disappointing for Ghanaians is that if you look at our centre back pair, I think this was what the public wanted, Jiku and Salisu, and we went in for them, but today they disappointed. Our laterals were so off today, nothing from Odoye, nothing from Gideon Mensah. So for me, I think the worst department will be our defense and the goalkeeper. We just couldn't put it together and couldn't defend properly and considered very, very two challenging goals, just as Chris Hughton alluded to.
All right, Ghana, we got a painful defeat today, and personally, I'm not happy. I'm so much, angry, because Coach Chris Hughton, it seems he's not learning, or he's deciding to be too stubborn. You cannot come into this game deciding to attack. You now got the equalizer after conceding a poor goal. Then you decide to go back to how you used to play. That Ghanaians have been complaining that is still going in the defensive way, taking out our good attackers that were actually warming themselves into the game. One was Antoine Semenyo, another was Majid Ashimeru. He took them out, brought on the likes of Salis Abdul Samed. Samed is not 100% fit, we know, but he was trying to go the defensive way, and look at where it ended Ghanaians. The coach doesn't have any plans for us. The only thing he will be like, or he'll be saying is, we were eluded by luck, and they are still working. What are they doing? Like on their training ground, what are they like? I don't even get it. What are they doing? Ghanaians have to make sure that this coach is sacked if we are actually out of this tournament at the group phase. Ghanaians cannot afford another heartbreak after 2021 in Cameroon. I wasn't there in Cameroon, but here I'm here, and if Coach Chris Hughton, Ghana, we are actually eliminated from the group, we will sack him here before Ghanaians will return to Ghana. So, like, it's just sad. It's just sad. Like I'm so much angry. Even if I speak, it's not coming again.
Where do you think we lost this game? Which department was lacking so much that cost us this game?
Yes, I think one, goalkeeping was a problem, because if you look at the goal we conceded, it was a poor one. Later on, Ofori did well. That's the second half. That one, I need to give him his flowers. Defense, I wasn't really happy with the way that they were actually setting up. Sometimes it was too open for the Cavadians to actually enter. Midfield, I think Baba Idrisu was our weakest links today, and he feels like he's the boss on the pitch, shouting at Joseph Mente every time you want to go forward. He's telling him to come back for the ball. Like, I was asking myself that, why don't we have any player on the bench again aside Baba Idrisu? Or like, is this the players that we can only rely on in this tournament? He was so weak at a point in time, we needed his replacement. Attacking phase, I think it started working in the second half. They started finding the mojo, then the coach took out Antoine Semenyo, brought on NS Nuama, who was electric for me, but Iñaki didn't impress me. And the whole attacking phase changed when he decided to make a lot of changes and switch to the defensive way. Then we started not going offensive again, and Ghana has to concede in the last minutes of the game. And I think this defeat is so painful, because at least the draw would have been okay. And Ghana, I think we might be heading back home on the 22nd. Next game is against Egypt. In fact, no hope for us. No hope for us.